All of you, welcome back to course Artificial Intelligence. Our today's topic of video is knowledge representation technique, predicate logic. So in the previous video we discussed about prepositional logic and we understand that how knowledge can be represented with the help of prepositional logic. Now in this video we are going to discuss about a second knowledge representation technique called as a predicate logic. So why predicate logic comes into existence? The reason is very simple. Just because of the various limitations of a prepositional logic, we come up with a solution, that is what a predicate logic. Now let's discuss about predicate logic. So first of all we try to answer few things. Can we represent this statement in a prepositional logic? So we have a simple statement. Some students are intelligent, or Ram likes cricket. These are two statements are there. So whether these statements we can represent in a prepositional logic. So as per the condition or features of prepositional logic, we know one condition, that in case of preposition its value can either be true or false but cannot be both. So by just looking at this statement, some students are intelligent, can we say that it is a true or false? No, we can't say. That means this statement we cannot represent with the help of prepositional logic. The second statement, Ram likes cricket. Okay, so whether it is true or false, how can you verify that Ram likes cricket or not? So in that case, these two statements you cannot represent with a prepositional logic, because prepositional logic is having some limitation, that it supports only boolean logic. In that case you can also you can have answer in terms of only true or false but cannot be both or any other than that. Means just like that, in this case we are talking about some students are intelligent. This is an example. So in that case we are not able to represent it with the help of predicate logic. Now let's try to understand what is a predicate in this predicate logic. So it's a statement involving variables which are neither true nor false unless and until its value is specified. So predicate is different than preposition. So predicate value can neither be true nor false but unless and until its value is specified. Now let's take a simple example. So the example is x is a fruit. So x is a fruit and x is greater than 2. True. So these statements are neither true nor false unless and until the value of x is to be provided. We can and we are saying that they are the predicate but they are not the preposition, because if I say x is a fruit, can we say it is a true or false? If we can able to answer the question like yes it is a true, it is a false, we can say that that statement is represented with the help of prepositional logic. But here x is a fruit, the value of x is not specified over here. The value of x can be a mango, the value of x can be grapes. Okay, it can be anything. So unless and until we not specify the value of x, we cannot represent it with the help of preposition logic. So prepositional logic is having a limitation that they cannot represent such a statement. So such a statement can be represented with the help of predicate logic, and this predicate is having predicate is nothing but such a statement which involves a variable which is neither true nor false unless and until its value is specified. So x is a fruit and x is greater than true. These are two called as a predicate but they are not the preposition, because their value cannot be given as a true or false, and in that case predicate logic comes into existence, or you can say it is useful. So in case of predicate logic, your statement is divided into two parts. What are they? First one is a subject and second one is a predicate. Now in this first example, x is a fruit, what we can say? X is a subject or you can say object, whereas is a fruit, this is what a predicate. So always you need to remember that in case of predicate logic, your statement is always divided into two parts. One is a subject and second one is a predicate. Now the next thing that we are going to discuss, what exactly the predicate logic. we just understand why we need to use predicate logic. The reason is very simple. Just because of the limitations of prepositional logic, prepositional logic can able to represent only that statement which have either value true or false, but suppose any another value will be there that cannot be represented with prepositional logic. So we required another kind of logic, another kind of technique. So that technique is nothing but a first order logic, or you can say predicate logic. So let's try to understand what is predicate logic. So it is another way of knowledge representation where which is a extension to prepositional logic. So this is what a predicate logic. So predicate logic is also called as a first order logic, and what we are saying, it's a way, it is another way of knowledge representation which is a extension to prepositional logic, because prepositional logic have some limitation, and in order to overcome that limitation, more functionality is being added to the prepositional logic, and a new type of logic comes, and that is what a predicate logic. Okay, and this predicate logic has a power to represent natural language statement in a concise way, and this prepositional logic only restricted to facts, it can represent only the fact. But predicate logic, just like a natural language, it assumes the world contains objects, it can represent the objects just like a people, house, number, color, baseball, games. Then it can also represent the relationship between the two variable, just like that we are saying that means it will represent the relationship just like a red, round, prime, brother of, bigger than, parts of, comes, between. So these are the various words which represent the relation. Then function, we can also represent the function with the help of predicate logic. So the function is father of, best friend, one more, plus, just I have written a simple statement 2 plus 3. So plus is a function between the argument 2 and 3. Okay, so always try to understand this, that the prepositional logic is restricted to only facts, it can represent the fact only, whereas predicate logic have ability or capability to represent the object, to represent the relations, as well as to represent the function. Now let's take a simple example. Mango's color is yellow. So in this case, how to represent it in a predicate logic? So here we are saying that color is a predicate, whereas mango and yellow, these are called as a argument or object. Okay, color is a predicate or relation, whereas mango and yellow, these are called as a argument or object. So this statement mango's color is yellow is represented in a predicate logic like this, color in bracket mango comma yellow. So how can you read this statement? Mango's color is yellow. So always try to understand how its representation is. If you interchange its value, you have written color yellow comma mango, then it becomes yellow color mango. Okay, so this is a difference. So you need to understand the representation, and where you need to specify that always you have to read like this, mango's color is yellow. This is how you can read. So color is a predicate, or you can say relation, whereas mango and color, these are mango and yellow, these are considered as a arguments or objects. Now the next thing is, what are the different components of predicate logic? We have seen that in case of prepositional logic, we have only 5 connectives: conjunction, disjunction, if and only if, not, and if then else, that is conditional. So these are the only 5 connectives available in case of prepositional logic to represent the statement. But in case of predicate logic, to represent it, we have various components. So what are the extra component that is being presented in case of predicate logic? So what are they? Very first one is constant. So you can say 1 is a constant, you can say 2 is a constant, John is a constant, Mumbai is a constant, cat is a constant. So such type of value is called as a constants. Okay, now next thing is variables. Okay, now next thing is variables. So you can have x, like x, y, z, a, b, c. These are called as a variables. Then we have predicate. Just we have seen what are the predicates available. Brother, father, these are the predicates available with us. Then we also have functions, just like sqrt is a function, left, leg up. These are also the functions in available in case of predicate logic. Now the next thing is what connectives. So all the connectives which are available in prepositional logic, they are all available in predicate logic. So what are the connectives? Conjunction, disjunction, not, implies, biconditional. These are the connectives which are also available in prepositional logic. Then here also we have equality as a component, and finally very important component of predicate logic, that is quantifier. So first symbol is of for all, and the second inverted e, this is a inverted a for all, and inverted e is for sum. When we need to represent some few, at that time inverted e is useful. Whenever we need to represent all, okay, at that time we need to use inverted a. So we'll see the with the help of example, don't worry about it. Now we discuss about types of predicate logic. So very first type is single argument predicate logic. So here we can see we have written a statement like this: board is a black. So black in bracket board, so what we can say, board is a instance of a class black. Okay, so we can write like this. Again we have written, suppose the statement is ball is round. Okay, so round in bracket ball, and suppose we have written a statement 7 is a prime number, or 7 is a prime, so prime in bracket 7. So always need to understand, in the bracket we need to provide the value as an argument or object, or we can say subject, and outside this we are returning this particular predicate, or we can say function, relation, are always written outside. Okay, then we have second type, that is two argument predicate logic. So we have written a statement John married to Mary. So Mary is a relation between John and Mary, so we have written John married Mary. Okay, again we have suppose one more statement written like this: 3 is larger than 2. So larger than is a relation, and we know that relation, predicate, function, we need to write first, and then in bracket we need to provide the argument. So just like that, larger than is a relation which accepts two arguments such as 3 and 2. So how can we read like this: 3 larger than 2? How can we read John married Mary? Like this. Then the third type, or another type, is some relations are functions and their value is another object. Just like over here, plus is a function, so 2 plus 3. Okay, just like that. Dan is a father, so father is what a function over here. So in this way you can represent. So this is what a different types of predicate logic. Mostly it is a single argument and two argument predicate logic is there. The next one is quantifiers. So what are the different quantifiers available in predicate logic? So there are basically two major quantifiers are available in predicate logic. First one is universal quantifier, and second one is a existential quantifier. Now let's try to understand when we should use universal quantifier and how it is being used to represent a particular statement in predicate logic. So when you should use universal quantifier, so when you have to represent a statement which have intention of saying all, everyone, or everything. When you got some statement which represents such a thing that it discuss about all, it discuss about everyone, everything, then at that time you have to use this universal quantifier, which is represented with the help of inverted a, and it allows us to make the statement about all objects that have certain properties. Okay, now just take a simple example: all students are clever. So in this case we are talking about all students, so in this case we need to make use of universal quantifier inverted a, because we are talking about all students. So try to understand this statement: all students are clever. So how to represent it? So in this case we make use of inverted A. So we'll write for all x, if x is student, then x is clever, because what we have written, all students are clever. So we have represented, how we have represented, for all x, if x is a student, then x is clever. So this is how we have represented a statement which describe about all by using universal quantifier inverted A. We have one more example, all men drink coffee. How to represent it? For all x, so here we can say x is a man and it has a predicate drink, and one more argument is coffee. So how we can represent it over here? For all x, if x is a man, then x drink coffee. Okay, so this is how we write all men drink coffee. So you need to make a note that in case of a predicate, in case of universal quantifier, you have to make use of implication as a connective. Okay, always try to understand that whenever you are making use of universal quantifier, it will make use of implication as a connective. Okay, now next type of quantifier, that is existential quantification, and it is represented with the help of symbol inverted E. Now the next question is when we should use existential quantifier. The thing is very simple. When we talk about for some or at least one, at that time we have to make use of existential quantifier. So it allows us to make a statement about some objects and without naming it. Let's take a simple example. Suppose I am saying some students are clever. Okay, I am not saying all students are clever. Suppose I am saying all students are clever, then I had to use universal quantifier. But in this case I am saying some students are clever, that's why I need to make use of existential quantifier. Okay, so how to read this? And you know that existential quantifier is represented by inverted E. Okay, so how to read this? For some x, such that x is a student and x is a clever. So this is how we have written a predicate logic for this given problem statement. For some x, x is a student and x is clever. So here student is represented by variable x, because we are talking about students. We are saying that students are clever. Okay, so we have written a answer like this. And one more thing that you need to remember about existential quantifier is that it all most of the time it will make use of conjunction as a connective. Okay, conjunction, that is and is a connective that mostly we use with a existential quantifier. Okay, so I hope you understand about two quantifiers. One is a universal quantifier and second one is a existential quantifier. Now we'll take more example to clarify the concept of predicate logic. Now let's take a simple example, all birds fly. So here bird will represent x and fly is a predicate. So how to represent it? You can say for all x, if x is a bird, then x can fly. Then another example, every man respect his parent. So in this case we are talking about every means what? All. That means we have to use which quantifier? We have to use inverted A as a quantifier. So and in this case what will be the value of x? Man is represented by x. So how we can write this? For all x, if x is a man, then x will respect the parent. So this is how we have represented this particular statement. Then take one more example, some boys play cricket. So in this case we are talking about only few, we are not talking about all. So when we talk about some few, at that time we have to make use of existential quantifier, and it is being represented by inverted E, and in this case boy is represented by variable x. Okay, so how can I read? For some x, if x is a boy, then x play cricket. So this is how we have represented this statement. And at the last we have one more example. So complicated example is there. Not all students like both mathematics and science. So here mathematics and science, this is a subject where x will represent students. Student is represented by x, and as we are talking about all, it make use of universal quantifier, and universal quantifier is what? Inverted a. And in this case what is given? Not. Okay, so it is a negation. So what we have written? For not all x. For, see, suppose I not written this symbol, how can I read for all x? But here not is applied, that's why I have written this negation statement. So how to read? For all not x, if x is a student, then x like mathematics and x like science. So this is how we have formulated a predicate logic for given problem statement. Okay, so I hope you understand how to represent a statement in a predicate logic. And at the last we are going to discuss about limitation of predicate logic. What will be the limitation of predicate logic? As we have seen, there is a limitation in case of there is a limitation in case of prepositional logic, that it cannot represent a statement whose value is only either true or false. Means prepositional logic can represent statement whose value is either true or false. But suppose we got some statement where we cannot say its value is true or false, so that statement cannot be represented with the help of prepositional logic. So at that time we have to make use of predicate logic. Similarly, predicate logic also have one drawback, so that we are going to discuss over here. We cannot represent the tense of statement. Just take an example. Suppose we have written Marcus was a man. So this is a statement, we need to represent it in a predicate logic. So Marcus was a man. So man is a class to which Marcus was belong. Marcus is an instance, so we have to write in a bracket Marcus was a man. Okay, now sir, this is a statement which is written in the past tense. Now another statement, Marcus is a man. This is a statement written in the present tense, but still its representation is same, only your reading is different. Marcus is a man. Again we write this statement in future tense, that Marcus will be a man. Same thing we are going to write over here, Marcus will be a man. So one thing is clear from all these three examples, that the predicate logic is not able to represent the tense of the statement. It only represent the meaning of the statement. It will represent the function, it will represent the object, it will represent the relation, but it is not able to represent the tense of the statement. So this is what a limitation of predicate logic. So we discuss various benefits of a predicate logic. We are saying that predicate logic is an extension of prepositional logic. The problem that we face in prepositional logic is overcome by predicate logic, but unfortunately it is not able to represent the tense of the statement. So I hope you understand what is predicate logic, how predicate logic is different from prepositional logic, what are the different components that we have used. Then main thing is quantifier. So two types of quantifier is there. One is a universal quantifier and second one is a existential quantifier. We discuss various example, and at the last we discuss one more one of the limitation of predicate logic, that is it is not able to it cannot able to represent the tense of a statement. Thank you.